you very much. We'll crack straight on with Anton for Sky Sports.
Hi, Ange. Nice to see you.
Good to see you, mate.
Welcome to Nottingham. How does it feel to be head coach of Nottingham Forest?
Yeah, excited. Obviously, not really sure when the next opportunity will sort of arise, and yeah, it happened, and yeah, really excited. I mean, it's obviously great to be back in the Premier League, but great to be in charge of a club with such a storied history, who I firmly believe are on their way up, and I think it's a great place for me to be.
It all happened so quickly. Can you give us some insight into the timings, the conversation about how all this came down?
Yeah, quickly is the word. Yeah, it kind of developed sort of over the weekend, but it sort of just all came to a head on the Monday, and all my staff were all different parts of the world, and we had to make some quick decisions. The president got me in a good moment. I'd just done the school run, and that's a great motivator to get back to work, mate.
What have the last few months been like for you personally? Because you say you don't expect to win a European trophy and then lose your job. And equally, you often hear from managers, it's not necessarily just about taking the next job, but the right job.
Look, it was unusual because it's never happened to me before. I mean, it's the first time I've really been, it is the first time I've been sacked. I mean, when I was with the Australian youth team, my contract finished and I kind of knew it was over, but it was the first time sort of that's happened to me, and the first time I've had an off-season off. I had 4 or 5 weeks with the family, which has never happened before, and fair to say it was as tough for them as it was for me. But through that time, I kind of, like you said, you wonder about the next opportunity. I've never sort of put too much thought in it because every opportunity I've had has sort of come from somewhere where I haven't maybe expected it. What I did know was that I was really keen to again go to a club that will give me that platform to continue sort of the career I've had so far, and that is to continue winning things. That was important to me.
You talk about being a winner. We know that. We know you're very straight talking, but the Forest fans will want to get to know you. In your own words, who is Ange Postecoglou, and what will you bring here to the City Ground?
I've never really talked about myself in the third person.
We love that.
Yeah. Look, I guess I think for the most part, what you see is what you get. I'm no different. If you sort of bump into me in the street, I try and be myself. And I'm just very passionate about what I do. Like I said, I love creating things that are lasting. I think every club I've been to, I'd like to think I'll be welcome back because I think I've left a mark, and that's what I want to do here. But again, all that sort of takes time. I think the one thing that the fans will know with me is that I've set my mind to do something. I'll see it through, and hopefully I can bring some special times to the football club.
Hi, a quick question for clarity. You say, well, we know you win a trophy in your second season.
I won a couple in my first as well. Celtic, I won a double in my first year, so
there you go. Going to win one in your first then?
Yeah, well, of course I can, yeah. I mean, I may have to have a second year here, mate. So, yeah.
What would your message be to young Aussies who look up to you and want to be where you are now?
Don't be a manager, for God's sake. No, look, I think there is something in that, and it's not something very easy for me to verbalise, but I think for anyone who does come from Australia, we realise just how far away we are from this world, and I think even to this day, people, particularly here in the Premier League, think I only started coaching 2 years ago when I took over Spurs. It just doesn't. It seems everything I've done up to that point doesn't really resonate with anyone. But that's okay. We love being the underdog. We love being written off as Aussies. We're a small country that takes on the world in terms of, particularly in sport. And I kind of like being in that space anyway. And I think for any young person, irrespective of where you are, you can talk about having dreams. I surpassed my dreams probably 20 years ago about what I wanted to do in the game. So to be sitting here where I am now, just goes to show you that irrespective of sort of where you grow up or whatever barriers you may have, you know, if you kind of believe in something, it can happen.
Great. Good luck.
There is a little bit of that, I think, but I don't see it as a point to prove. I don't have to prove anything to anyone, you know. I really believe that, you know, like the football club, that you just, you know, you let your kind of actions speak for themselves, and you present yourself, and you kind of understand the responsibility you have both as a manager and the football club has to provide joy to the most important people, and that is the supporters. That's why football clubs exist. They don't exist for any other reason. I know sometimes, especially in the Premier League, we think they do. You know, it's about the money or the exposure or the fame, but it's just about bringing joy to the people who, you know, are the lifeblood of this game. And that's all I care about. I don't care about, you know, I guarantee you I can win things here, and people will still have doubts about me because of who I am, and probably same with Nottingham Forest as well, you know. But that's what I say. That's why I loved, you know, watching the club's recent sort of history.
For you to please for that afternoon trip. Can you just go into how it actually made you feel in terms of, did you feel it was unjust? Were you disappointed?
Yeah, it wasn't great. I knew it was coming, so I wasn't surprised. So that's the one thing. I knew it was coming a fair way before the final. But, you know, we won it, and we had the parade, so it was a great 3 days, and I didn't want it to tarnish that. But after that, I kind of knew it was done. So, yeah, from my perspective, you have a chance to process that. Whether I feel it was unjust, I mean, it's just, you know, other people make those decisions, they make those determinations. That's up to them. You'd have to ask them their reasoning for it. But, you know, what I do know is I had 2 years where it was very, very challenging, but you know, I worked with some fantastic people in the football department. The supporters, we put them through some tough times, but, you know, there isn't a Spurs supporter that I don't come across now that doesn't want to hug me and take me home for dinner, so I must have done something right. And I think that's what we do it for. I'm very proud of what we achieved there, and, you know, it'll always take a special place in my heart. But how it ended, I have, you know, I don't really think about it a lot. And to be fair, you know, I've done it a couple of times myself. I left Celtic, you know, and I'm sure that they were disappointed when I left. I left Yokohama, they were disappointed. So you understand that that's, you know, part of the business we're in. But that's okay. You know, it's allowed me now to move into this, and maybe these things happen for a reason.
Daniel, you've since left Spurs, can you give a sense of what it was like to work for the chairman, and were you surprised that he's no longer there?
Yeah, look, I don't think this is kind of the forum for me to speak about that, you know, at length. Look, again, I didn't have a great deal of interaction with Daniel. That's the reality of it. You know, I tend to get on with my daily business and do what I need to do. You know, he was there for a very long time. He invested a hell of a lot in that football club in terms of building it up to where it was. You know, I guess he appointed me, so I've got to be, you know, thankful for that, and hopefully I repaid it with, you know, providing a trophy that they hadn't had for a very long time.